press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello children, we are discussing coordination compounds and today we are in the fourth part of coordination compounds. We have made it clear in the coordination compounds that two types of valencies, that primary and secondary valencies exhibit according to Bernoulli's theory. Secondary valency determine the shape, we call that as coordination polyhedra. Then a coordination compound is made up of a counterion and a metal atom and ligands. We have discussed nomenclature, ligands alphabetically they have to be ordered. So we have discussed various rules during the discussion of nomenclature. Now today we will solve a few more examples and try to name the coordination compounds with the rules that we have learned so far. Clear? So the first complex that we are going to write is, children, Na coordination compound starts CO 4 times. So the coordination compound we have, children, is NaCaCO 4 times. So this is our coordination polyhedra and this is our counterion. So I'll write it counterion and this is our coordination complex. Right. Now obviously there's a counterion. So what do we name first? Counterion. So it will be sodium. So once you have written counterion, coordination compound should be written separately, give some gap. Then there is only one ligand present, correct or not? Look here. When you look on the oxidation state of cobalt here, we have been given carbonyl carbon, CO. We know last time we discussed it also. It is a neutral ligand, right? What's it? Neutral ligand. So what's the charge of carbonyl carbon? 0. The sodium is losing one electron. Ligand does not need any electrons. So the charge of the complex will be -1. What does it mean? The name of this central metal atom will finish with 8 because whenever complex finishes with a negative charge, the name of central metal atom is finished with 8. So we have sodium, then tetracarbonyl, sodium, tetracarbonyl, this should be written together. Then you have cobaltate. And now tell me, here important thing, last time I told you, it is not necessary and most of the time is what will be said is, the oxidation state of central metal atom will be plus or 0, but that is not correct. You can have negative oxidation state of the central metal atom as well. There is one of the examples of that. See, carbonyl carbon does not need any electrons, but sodium is losing one electron. That means that electron has to be gained by, there is no oxidation state of carbonyl carbon, so it won't be gaining it. The electron will go to cobalt. So oxidation state of cobalt will be -1. So the name will be sodium tetracarbonyl cobaltate and it will be written in terms of -1. Oxidation state of the complex is -1 here. Right. Did you get the name clear? So name of the complex is sodium tetracarbonyl cobaltate and charge of the complex is -1 and oxidation state of central atom is also -1. So we'll put minus for that. Right. Next molecule, children. So we have done this. You can name it K3CN 6 times, coordination system closes. So what should we name first? Counterion. So the name becomes potassium. How many potassiums are there? 3. So how many electrons will be lost? 3. Charge of the complex becomes 3-. That means chromium will finish with 8. So the name becomes potassium. Then hexacyano. You can finish the name with hexacyanido also, because last time I told you ide or O is added to the negatively charged ligand. So potassium hexacyano, then chromate. Now oxidation state. There are 3 electrons that has already been gained by the complex. So those 3 electrons will go to 3CN because oxidation state of CN is what? -1. So it will be gaining those 3 electrons. How much further are needed? There are 6 CN. So further 3 electrons are needed. Those 3 electrons will be lost by potassium. So oxidation state of potassium will be 3. And we know oxidation state of the complex is shown to be is to be shown in Roman numericals. Am I clear? Next one, children. Next complex you have is NiCO4. This is the next complex we have, NiCO4. Can you name it? Try it. The name of the complex will be what? Carbonyl carbon, again 0. So it will be tetracarbonyl, then nickel. And what's the oxygen state? 0, because there is no electron lost by nickel. There is no counterion. So what type of complex is this? It is neutral complex. Tell me, what type of complex is this? This is what complex? Both of these are what complexes? Anionic complexes. If you remember, in our last discussion we discussed complexes can be discussed on the basis of charges. You have cationic, you have anionic, and you have neutral complexes. So both of these are what? Anionic complexes, and this is what? Neutral complex. Am I clear? Have a look on this carefully, children. Next question we'll write, children. That is PPH thrice. Keep it in mind. What is PPH thrice? Triphenyl phosphine. What's the structure of phosphine? PH3. There is a lone pair of electron on phosphorus. If these three are replaced by phenyl groups, how many phenyl groups are there? Replaceable. How many hydrogens replaceable are there? 3. So they are replaced by 3 phenyl groups. Then it is attached to phosphorus. So it is triphenyl phosphine for us. Am I clear? And we have learnt it. Whenever there is polyatomic ligand, whether it is neutral, positively or negatively charged, it must always be shown in terms of brackets. You need to show it in terms of brackets only. Yes. So you have CrPPH3. Then you got one more ligand attached to it, children, in the form of CO. This is also 2 atomic. So CO 5 times complex closes. Now it is CrPPH3 CO5. So whenever you have to name the ligand, what you exactly need to do? Alphabetical order, it is triphenyl phosphine. This is carbonyl. Which comes first? C. So the name of the complex will be what? Pentacarbonyl. Then triphenyl phosphine. What's the charge of this? 0. Triphenyl phosphine is also neutral. Complex will be 0 charged. So oxidation state will be, name of the chromium will be as such, and oxidation state of chromium will be 0. So pentacarbonyl triphenyl phosphine chromium 0. This will be the name of the complex. Am I clear with this naming? Have a look carefully. We are using all the rules that we have learned so far. Yes or no? Let us talk about one more element. Yes, children. K2. We have a complex in the form of K2OS. What does OS mean? Osmium. So K2OS Cl5N. Now Cl, monoatomic, nitrogen, monoatomic, so I am not showing brackets here at all. And then it's attached by a counterion. Once it will lose electron, we know the charge of the complex will be -2. Correct or not? Very good. Now, we have got 2 ligands here. One is chlorine. Look here. One is chlorine, so name will be chlorido or chloro. Any of the 2 can be used. What's the charge of chlorine? -1. Then this is nitrogen. And when nitrogen is not in its diatomic form, rather it's in the monoatomic form, the oxidation state of nitrogen will be 3-. This, like if it was N2, it will be simple dinitrogen. You can simply write dinitrogen, or you can simply write nitrogen. But here it's N3-. It will be nitride. What's N3- called as? Nitride. Charge is finishing with O. Name of the complex will finish with O because there is negative charge present on it. So oxidation state of chlorine is -1. N3 is -3. Now this complex on the whole, children, has gained how many electrons? 2. How many are needed? 5 plus 3, 8. So 2 are already lost. K2 is losing 2 electrons. Those are there on the complex. Now these two on the whole need 8 electrons, and they have how many 2? So further, osmium has to lose how many electrons? 6 electrons. So 6 plus will be the oxidation state of osmium. So when you are naming it, it will be very simple now for you. Charge of the complex is -2. This is osmium. OS. Osmium. Now the name of the complex, very simple. How can you write down? Potassium. Potassium. This is nitride. N. This is chloro. C. Pentanitride. Then it will be pentachloro. Then nitride. Pentachloro nitride. Osmiate. Not osmiate. It is osmiate. Osmium, it is osmiate, oxidation state will be 6, so it will be Vi. This will be the name of the complex. Potassium, pentachloronitride, osmiate 6, because you can see that osmium is under +6 oxidation state. Nitrogen in the form of N3- nitride, yes. Now once it is nitride, the name, the complex will become like this. Potassium, pentachloronitride, osmiate 6 will be the name of the complex. Have a look on the names properly, children. Right or not? Good. Now here, now one more change here. It is nitride, right? Charge is finishing with -3, so it will be nitrido. This whole name will be together because this whole is a complex ion and this is our counter ion. Are you understanding how to write the names of the complexes, children? Yes, because we have already learned the rules clearly in our last discussion. Okay. Then we can have one more complex, children. It will be Ca2FeCN6. Ca2FeCN6. We know Cn will be -1 and calcium will be +2. Now there are 2 calcium, so 4 electrons will be lost. Charge on the complex will be 4-. Yes? The electrons lost by cation will be gained by the complex, which is actually an anion. So when you are naming, what do you name first? Cation. So again, you won't write dicalcium here. It is single calcium, and whatever the number of counter ions are there, they are written as one word. If it is negative, it's added with "ide." If it is positively charged, it will finish as such. If it is neutral also, it will finish as such. Usually, neutral will not be acting as a counter ion for us. Right. So it will be calcium. Then here hexacyano. Are you getting it or not? You can write it cyano C, because the electrons have been lost by where? Carbon. So when you write hexacyano, it is understood it comes from C, otherwise thio and iso has to be used. Calcium hexacyano. Oxidation state is 4-. Ferrate. Complex is 4-, that means 4 electrons will gain by 4 CNs. Still there are 2 needed. It will be lost by iron. Ferrate 2 will be the name of this complex. Have a look on this carefully. Am I clear? Okay, let's take one more compound. NH3 twice. Then coordination system closes. PT. Then SCN 6 times. Now when sulfur is attached, it is thio. Correct or not? When it is attached by sulfur, it will be thio. Right or not? Right. Correct. So thiocyanito. Now what will be the name of this? NH3 2. It's acting as a ligand. So here it's not acting as a counterion. It has to be NH4 twice. NH4 twice. NH4 oxidation state is +1. We know. How is NH4 molecule obtained? When NH3 will ammonia is dissolving in acidic medium, you are getting NH4 plus, wherein the lone pair of electron in the form of a dative bond is made between nitrogen and hydrogen. That becomes NH4 plus. So oxidation state of ammonia is +1. That means it has already given out 1 electron out, right or not? So once it has donated 2 electrons, it will be -2 because total charge of cation is equal to the charge on the complex. So it has to be -2. Or is it clear or not? Once it is -2, total number of electrons lost by SCN are how many? It is -1 oxidation state. So 6 are into 2 are already gained. Oxidation state will be 4. So the name of the complex will be ammonium. Okay, then hexathiocyanato, platinate IV. This will be the oxidation state. Did you follow the name or not? Clear? One more name we can write. We have a complex CO H2O3 times Cl2 CO3. Complex closes. This is CO. Now can you name it? This is chlorine. It starts with C. It will be aqua A. It will be carbonate C. So these two are there. Chloro ClORO or CHLORO. Chloro. This is carbonato CAR. So whatever the case, carbonato will come first. Oh yes, CAR. This is C. It's A, amine. Aqua, Q, M and Q. Second place of difference. So the name will be triamine. Carbonato is 2 minus. Chlorine is -1. So total electrons needed are 4. All the electrons have been lost by cobalt. So the name will be, triamine carbonato dichlorocobalt, and oxidation state of cobalt will be, so 2 for carbonate, 2 for this. Oxidation of cobalt will be again IV, 4 oxidation state will be there because there is no counterion attached to it at all. Now instead of that, children, if I mention the charge of the complex to be -1, then what will be the name? The name becomes triamine. Very good, triamine. Then carbonato, then dichloro, then charge of the complex is -1, so it becomes cobaltate. Oxidation state of cobalt, see here, chlorine is -1, so 2 electrons is needed here to total 4, but 1 is already gained by the complex, right? So cobalt will have to lose total how many electrons? Only 3. Oxidation state will be 3. Is it a correct name? No, children. This is not a correct name because counter ion has not been shown. When there is no counter ion, and we know whenever you are writing the name of a coordination complex, name should give you a clear-cut indication what are the properties of that compound itself as well. Because when you will put this complex, this particular complex in the charges, because you have not shown any counter ion, when you will put this in the medium, 100% it will show conductivity. That means there is a charge. So you need to mention at the end ion, because when there is a negative charge or a positive charge mentioned on the complex without mentioning the counter ion, so instead of mentioning the counter ion, we are mentioning at the end ion, indicating that there is some charge on the complex. And when we are finishing the name with 8, indicates that there is a -1, there is a negative charge. So what is the magnitude of that negative charge? That can be checked qualitatively. And what qualitative methods we can use? There are precipitation methods are there, conductivity methods are there, Van 't Hoff's method, that is boiling point studies or melting point called as cryoscopic or ebullioscopic studies we can do. Am I clear? Right. So these are the coordination complexes, these different coordination complexes. How do we write the names of different coordination complexes? So you can have a look at home and try the oxidation states, calculations, and try different names itself. Now children, we have done different coordination complexes when there are neutral, there is positive, and there are negatively charged coordination complexes. Now the question that remains to be seen here is that why are coordination compounds made? Naturally, during the first discussion when we discussed about double salts and complex ions, I told you there that when double salts are made, they don't maintain their individual identity. However, complex does maintain the individual identity, right? Complex does maintain the individual coordination compounds. It does maintain the individual identity. That we know, and that we already worked out with as well. However, if there is a salt which itself is stable, what is the need of that salt to combine with some other atoms which we call as ligands in the present studies to make higher complexes? As we know, when cobalt chloride is their oxidation state of cobalt is +3, that's a primary valency. We know this is stable, but when you dissolve this in ammonia, you are getting 3 different complexes. I'll write the formula: CO, NH3, 6 times Cl3, and you will be getting different isomers from it. We know that what are different isomers obtained from this. That means this coordination complexes has been made. It's only possible when in the medium the stability exercised by a coordination complex, when the stability exercised by coordination complex is more. If stability exercised by coordination complex is more, only then coordination compound will be made. Now, how will you explain the stability of any coordination compound or any metal atom or any atom? Obviously, we explain stability on the basis of the electrons, total number of electrons that are going in the atom. And we know electrons should be going in an atom according to 2n square formula, right? But here, our chemistry is mostly dealing with d blocks, and we will be usually talking about d elements. That means on the whole, every metal atom will keep on adding ligands to it till the time the number of electrons on these ligands will be close to the noble gas. Means in 3D series, when you look on scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel up to zinc, in this series, the last element of the noble gas series will be which one? Atomic number 36, that is helium, neon, argon, and it will be krypton, because argon is 18 plus 18, that is 36. So it will be krypton. So every d block element will try to take the ligands, try to take the electrons till the electronic configuration closely approaches 36. Now, how exactly can we find out what exactly are the number of electrons present on the central metal atom? So for that purpose, one basic mathematical rule has been put forward which explains to us on the basis of the basic fundamentals that the number of electrons in the central metal atom, remember, that rule tells us if the number of electrons in the central metal atom are closest to the noble gas, more will be the stability exercised by it. Later in the discussions, I will discuss the ligand strengths. There are different types of ligands. Got it? So strong ligands are in a position to replace weak ligands. Got it? That will be discussed on spectrochemical series. That will be discussed on the basis of the absorption methods. That will be discussed on the basis of ligand exchange methods. But by now I am talking about the general electronic view. So that rule is called as effective atomic number rule. Effective atomic number rule. And it is in simple terms represented by EAN, effective atomic number rule. How do we calculate the effective atomic number in particular coordination complex? And usually effective atomic number will be calculated for central metal atom, because it is the central metal atom that's loss or gain. So if it is gaining electrons, what's the number of electrons totally that has come? That is called as effective atomic number. Effective atomic number means the atomic number of the element plus or minus the number of electrons gained by it. Clear? So effective atomic number of any element, effective atomic number of any element equals to Z Z is its atomic number. Obviously, what is the atomic number of that element? That is Z. Minus oxidation state. What is the oxidation state of that element? Because when it is interacting, whether it has lost or gained electrons, minus oxidation state. Plus, tell me, each coordination number is donating how many electrons? 2 electrons. Correct or not? Plus 2 means the number of electrons donated by each coordination number. So if coordination number is 4, it will be 8 number of electrons have been gained by the central atom, because ligands are donating electrons to which orbitals? D orbitals. If coordination number is 5, it will be 10. If coordination number is 6, it will be 12. If coordination number is only 2, it will be 2. It depends upon the coordination number. Now, coordination number is to be calculated. It has to be done on the basis of the number of atoms which are ligated to the central metal atom. Suppose if it is bidentate ligand, each bidentate ligand, say if it is a bidentate ligand, then each bidentate ligand has got coordination number of what? 2. Means each bidentate ligand is attached to metal atom from how many places? 2 places. So how many ligating atoms from each bidentate ligand? 2. That means the total number of electrons donated by a bidentate ligand equals to 4. Because how many ligating places are there? 2. So from 2 ligating places, 4 electrons will be donated, like ethane 1,2-diamine, like carbonato, like glycinato, right? Because they will be able to donate, or like dipeptidyl. In my structure, in the structures last time in the classes I have told you. So suppose we got copper here, electron is donated by nitrogen, so it is CH2, then it is again CH2, then you got nitrogen, it is donating. So how many electrons have been donated? 2 pairs. What is the coordination number? Coordination number is 2, but each is donating how many electrons? 2 electrons. So the total number of electrons donated by bidentate ligand will be 4. What if you have a tridentate ligand? Total number of electrons donated will be 6, and the ligating places will be how many? 3. Is it clear or not? So now tell me, if you want to make a complex surrounded by how many ligands? Suppose if you want to make a complex surrounded by 6 ligands. How many? 6 ligands. You can directly use 6 monodentate ligands, right? Or you can use 3 bidentate ligands, right or not? Or you can use 2 bidentate ligands and 2 monodentate ligands, correct or not? Or you can use 1 pentadentate ligand and 1 monodentate ligand, or you can use directly 1 hexadentate ligand. These are possibilities there. So if it is 6 ligands, 6 monodentate ligands, then coordination number is directly 6. If it is 3 bidentate ligand, again coordination number will be 6, because each bidentate ligand is donating electrons from how many places? 2 places. So 3 will be able to donate from how many places? 6. So what does it mean to donate electrons? That means those particular atoms are directly linked to the central atom. That is called a coordination number, and that will determine the shape. Those will be non-ionizable for us. 2 bidentate ligands will donate how many electrons? 2 bidentate ligand will donate how many electrons? Each bidentate ligand 4. These will donate 8 electrons. 2 monodentate will donate how many electrons? 4 electrons. Total will be 12. Now what will be coordination number here? Again, it will be 6. Did you get it clear or not? So if you have a complex made up of 6 ligands, it will be made up of 6 monodentate ligands, like I said, homoleptic and heteroleptic complexes. That was also one of the classification, depending upon the number of atoms attached to it. Are you getting the point clearly or not, children? Very good. So effective atomic number equals to, children, Z minus oxidation state. I told you a while earlier, this oxidation state can also be plus. It is plus usually. Oxidation state can be neutral also, and the oxidation state is minus. At that time, when oxidation state is minus, it will become what? Z minus of minus oxidation state plus 2 into coordination number. Because oxidation state will be at that time the electron which has been gained. So effective atomic number of that element, if it was 22, it will become 23 because electron has been gained already. Usually, whichever the metal atoms you will find out in your usual discussions, it will be either positively charged or zero. But don't get this fact out of your mind that there is possibility for the oxidation state of central metal atom to be negative, as I proved a while earlier when I gave the example of Na, that is sodium was attached. Carbonyl, carbon is a ligand, it's a neutral ligand, homoleptic system is there, the electron has to go to central metal, and that's why we finish the name with 8, that is cobalt 8, right? Very good. So effective atomic number equals to Z, that is the atomic number minus oxidation state of that atom plus 2 into coordination number. Let us take some basic examples and understand. What are the practical application of this effective atomic number? You can calculate magnetic moment of the complex. How? Also, it does not give you the qualitative analysis, but you can calculate magnetic moment by calculating number of unpaired electrons. Sir, how is that possible? Very simple. Because when you look on noble gases, they do not have any unpaired electrons, right or not? So, if the atomic configuration is coming close to noble gases, it will be like a complex belonging to what? Nitrogen family or oxygen family or halogen family. So according to that, we can find out whether unpaired electrons are there. Suppose if effective atomic number effective atomic number comes equal to 35, atomic number of the nearest noble gas for that particular series suppose is 36, and you are getting 35, that technically means it will be like bromium, which has got one unpaired electron. I am not talking about it is the halogen. It is not halogen, but it is relative electronic configuration will be similar, relative not electronic configuration, relative number of electrons will be similar to that of halogen. So how many unpaired electrons do halogens have? 1. So this also will have 1 unpaired electron because number of unpaired electrons will be 36 minus number of electrons, effective number of electrons, 36 minus effective number of electrons. If it is not that 3D series, if it is 4D series, which series? 4D series. Then it will become 54 minus effective atomic number, because we have to keep changing the noble gas also. If it is scandium family, then it will be atomic number 36. If it is a yttrium family, then it will be the next one. Then if it is 4D series, it will be atomic number 54. If it is next, it will be atomic number so on and so forth. 84 almost. Am I clear with the thought? Right. So effective atomic number will help us to calculate magnetic moment of different complexes as well. And we know, children, what is magnetic moment equal to? Root of n into n plus 2 Bm, where Bm is Bohr magnetons. Let us do one example, 2-3 examples, so that we can understand how to calculate effective atomic numbers, right? Okay. I will take some basic complexes first, so that first you will be okay. Say the complex that we learnt, I'll take the example of that complex first. Clear? Okay. Say we have, children, a complex is Cr H2O four times Cl2 Cl and 2 times water. This is water of crystallization outside the coordination compound. or to make your work much easier rather than, or we can discuss this one also, to make your work much easier initially, let us take CrH2O 6 times Cl3, the basic first complex that you are obtaining. I want to calculate whether it will be affected by electric and magnetic field. So technically that part will lie in calculating the number of unpaired electrons. If there is no unpaired electron in the system available at all, electric and magnetic fields will not be interacting with it because there will be no generation of magnetic field. It will be technically repelled because magnetic poles will not be aligned. So we are calculating number of unpaired electrons. So if this question is given and you are asked to calculate effective atomic number of this, we know children, according to effective atomic number rule, effective atomic number equals to Z atomic number minus oxidation state plus 2 into coordination number. Let us first of all find all those things here. Now tell me what is the coordination number of chromium here? It is 6. So here coordination number equals to 6. Very good. Now what is Z for chromium? Z is atomic number of chromium, right? Atomic number. What is atomic number of chromium? It is 24. Correct? Atomic number of chromium is 24. Water is a neutral ligand, charge is 0. Chlorine is negatively charged, counter ion attached to the complex. Charge of each chlorine is -1. That means complex will be under +3 state. Complex under +3 state means water is neutral. So all the electrons are to be lost by where? Chromium. So oxidation state of chromium is +3. Means it has lost 3 electrons, right? So it is minus oxidation state means 3 electrons have been lost by it. Plus 2 into coordination number. We got all things clear. What is that atomic number, which is how much? 24 minus. How many electrons it has lost? 3. Plus 2 into coordination number. What is the coordination number here? 6. That is natural, children. 6 ligands will donate how many electrons on the whole? 6 pairs. That means total electrons will be 12. So 2 into 6. That makes it 24 minus 3. 21 plus 12, that will be 3, 2 plus 1 equals to 3. So that makes atomic number equal to what? 33. So 33 atomic number, if you look, it will belong to nitrogen family for sure. Have a look, we got nitrogen. You don't do all these things out unless and until you understand the things, because I'm just relating it out. So atomic number 33, 34, 35, 36. That is after nitrogen, what is here? Oxygen, fluorine and noble gas, means oxygen family, halogen family and noble gases are there. So there are 3 elements on the right of this atomic number 33. Definitely it will be nitrogen family. And when you move from top to bottom, in atomic number 3, how many unpaired electrons will be there? 3. There will be 3 unpaired electrons, right? So, but here you have to be careful because the electrons here are going in what? D orbitals. So talking about atomic number 33 means 3 unpaired electrons is not viable here at all. But relatively we can find it out with ease. Number of unpaired electrons. So we can technically say the number of unpaired electrons will be 3 magnetic, right, 33, 34, 35, 36. Root of 3 into 3 plus 2 Bohr magnetons. That will make it root 15 Bohr magnetons. So 3 unpaired electrons, definitely it will be affected by magnetic field. But remember, the electrons are being added to chromium and the hybridization consumption, coordination chemistry are quite variably different. So there you need to be very careful. Say one more complex, children. We have K4, Fe, Cn6. What will be effective atomic number for this equal to, children? It will be -4. Iron will be under +2 state, right? Atomic number of iron 26. Oxidation state of iron 2 plus coordination number 2 into coordination number. What is coordination number? 6. That makes it 26 minus 22, 24 plus 2, 6 are 12. So that makes it 36. Perfectly the configuration will be similar to that of noble gas. Thus no unpaired electron, magnetic moment will be 0, will not be influenced by electric and magnetic fields. Let us change this. Instead of K4, let us make it K3 Fe Cn 6 times. It was K4, oxygen state is +2. Now it is K3, it will be -3. It will have to lose how many electrons? 3 electrons. So formula changes and becomes 26 minus 3 plus 2 into 6. So 26 minus 3 will be 23 plus 2 into 6, that is 12. 23 plus 12 is how much? 35. So nearest to noble gas, number of unpaired electrons will be 36 minus 35, that is 1. Magnetic moment will be √3 for this element. Did you get it? So effective atomic number helps us to find out the number of unpaired electrons, and you can calculate the magnetic moment on the basis of effective atomic number, provided you are in a position to relate it very properly. So whatever the complexes I have given so far, children, can you calculate the effective atomic number of that? Suppose the earlier concept I gave was, what was that? Na, then what was that first? You have a look on that book and check what was the first thing. Na, correct. Then, right? So we have CO, then CO how many times? 4 times. Charge of the complex is -1. So it will be -1 oxygen state. We have done it already. No need to break head. So effective atomic number equals to cobalt, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, nickel, cobalt, copper, zinc, right? Nickel, cobalt, copper, zinc, or nickel, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. Cobalt is 27. Very good. Oxidation state, it has gained 1 electron, so it should be +1, and coordination number is 4. Oh, yes or no? So 4 into 2, so that will be 27 plus 1, 28 plus 4 2s are 8, so that will be 36. 100% magnetic moment for this complex will also be 0, and number of unpaired electrons are also 0. So you can find it out very easily in the complexes. So what is effective atomic number equal to, children? Effective atomic number is the total number of electrons that this central atom will have after you have taken the actual number of electrons, you have removed the electrons which it has lost during complex formation, or you have added the electrons which it has gained during the complex formation, plus the number of times coordination number is existing, 2 into coordination number. Say children, if you have a bidentate ligand like this, complex is say CrEn thrice, complex is CrEn thrice, oxidation state of the complex is +3. En is neutral charge, it means chromium will be +3. Effective atomic number here will be, chromium's atomic number is 24, oxygen state is -3 plus. So here, sir, it is bidentate ligand. Shall I write 2 into, can I write 2 into 6? No, better to change it for 2 into coordination number, you can write down. 2 is the number of electrons donated, and it's a bidentate ligand, and there are 3 bidentate ligands. Each bidentate ligand donates 2. 3 bidentate ligands will donate 6. Or if you want to change that formula and make things much clearer to yourself itself, you can also write effective atomic number for your clearance. Formula is this one. Where is that? Okay, we have written that already somewhere. So formula is Z minus oxygen state plus 2 into coordination number. However, if it's a bidentate ligand, for your clearance, for your clarification, you can easily do it like this. Sir, it will be like this. Can I write down for this complex? It will be Z minus oxidation state plus 3. How many ligands are there? 3, and each is donating how many? 4. So 3 into 4, that also makes it 12 electrons. Right. So you have to see what type of ligand has been given to you. So when the ligand is given, according to that, you will be able to solve the question. Right. Now what you need to do, children, at home is, whatever the questions we have discussed with respect to the nomenclature, and try to find out the effective atomic number for all those. Right. So you are done with that. In our next classes, we will continue on with the discussion of coordination compounds. Keep it in mind. Whatever the questions we have discussed so far, try to find out their effective atomic numbers, and try to find out electronic configurations with respect to what? Noble gases, with the help of which you can find unpaired electrons, and magnetic moment and electrical influences on the particular central metal atom or the particular coordination compound can be found out quite easily. Clear or not? Now children, one thing is left out which is not actually given to you, but we will discuss that as well. Once we are done with the isomerism, I will move into one more part of nomenclature, that is nomenclature of polynuclear complexes. When you have multiple central metal atoms and ligands, because we have learned last time that cation anion formation can occur, both will be coordination compounds. There we will discuss about the nomenclature of polynuclear complexes, and their bridging ligands will come into play. And remember, whenever there is bridge between two metal atoms, it is represented by the word mu. And there are different bridging ligands. So first you have to follow bridging ligand, then as usual the nomenclature will continue. That will do only after the discussion of isomerism. Am I clear? And even in carbonyl carbons, that is organometallic chemistry, that will be needed for you, because there are certain complexes given there which needs polynuclear naming itself. So bridge, how to name the bridge and what are different examples for that, we'll discuss that examples as well, correct, in our coming class. Thank you.